Hey everybody, happy Thursday. Welcome to Etcetera on the Vine Live. I'm your host, Kelly Barrett. I am super excited to welcome back to my show today the beautiful, the talent, the very well-traveled Michelle Truman. Michelle, hi.
Hi, baby. I made it.
Third time's a charm, right?
I know, right? Thank you for being so patient and accommodating with me.
Not a problem. And I think this may be just like a sign of the times. And I mean, it's because people are getting back to work.
Yeah.
You were touring in the States. I mean, you can't even be mad at that, because you're out doing what you're meant to be doing. And the airlines are the airlines, right?
Well, that's exactly what the communication between the band members is exactly that. It's like, for F's sakes, like, didn't get my luggage, another day flight. But at the end of every message, it's ... It's good to be back. So like,
right?
You've missed your flight. This one flight's delayed, so you don't catch your connection. This ... It's good to be back.
Right? First world problems, really, when you think about it, first world problems, because a year ago, we would have given anything to be held up at the airport.
Well, we were complaining about not traveling, about being stuck at home. So bring it on. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And so can you tell us a little bit about what you were doing over in the States?
Yeah. Well, I've been across a few times now. I've been lucky enough to. The most recent trip was in Nebraska, and that's a show that I'm a part of. It's called Big Top Radio. The band, they're based out of Winnipeg, and I've been a part of that company, that show, for a number of years. It's kind of morphed from one thing into what it is now. What it is now is like prime entertainment. It's a rock metal of a specific like hair rock era, and you've got this killer band. And within the company, there's like a rotation of singers. So one guy, Art, he comes out and he's Alice Cooper. So you've got this killer band in the style of any of the bands from that era. Like they look like Rat, they look like Warrant, But then he's Alice Cooper with two like huge hit songs. Then he's off, and then I'll come on as Joan Jett. He'll come back. He's Twisted Sister. We got another guy. It's Quiet Riot. It's Scorpions. The list goes on and on. But it's just like in your face, hair, rock, fun party. We've got all the bells and whistles for the show too, like the woo party streamers. We've got Glee from Alice Cooper. This 12-foot whatever he is. Pyro. It's super fun. It's just straight back to like that era that I'm sure you love.
That's really popular these days. And Michelle, as you're talking about this, I'm not surprised that you're involved in a project like that, because you're like a chameleon. You really are. You wear a lot of hats, and you have a lot of projects on the go that are so varied. And so I'm not surprised you're doing Joan Jett.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, you know what? It's a lot of leather, so I feel at home. Yeah, it's
of course you are the lead singer of Toronto, and thankfully you are, because you're and in celebration of 40 years, it's so cool, right? And people still want to hear this music. It's still relevant, and the fans still want to hear the songs. And so bless your heart, Michelle Truman, for
well, thanks for saying that. But you know what? I feel like I'm the lucky one, and we're also like super sweet that we all say we're the lucky one. We all really are, to just have the platform to come back and to have the songs that were so great. I wasn't a part of the songwriting. So I credit them and that, and I credit management, and I credit Bernie, and I credit Barry, and all those pieces of the puzzle that make it. And of course, it just allows me to come in and do what I feel like do my best, which is to lead, is the front, and to that style of music, I would say, is my forte. But
100%.
I would say that about any of the shows I'm in. So
I was just going to say it, because your forte is also doing an Abbey tribute, and your forte is also doing a wicked Shania Twain. And what you got there?
This is my mug that my co-star Karen Coughlin made, and I was like, you know what?
Always Abba, for you viewers, is the name of Michelle's Abba tribute. So can you tell us a bit about that? How long has that been going on?
So I've been in the ABBA world for maybe 12, 13 years. I was the lead singer of an ABBA show. And I remember when I got hired, I was blonde, and I was at the airport, and I was getting on a plane with, who was I playing with at the time? Blushing Brides. And there was this other band there, and their management walked up and said, like, who's the blonde in your band? They said, it's Michelle, she sings with us. And just from that, they scooped me. They went, blonde singer. Do you want to do ABBA? And at that time, I could have named maybe two ABBA songs.
Right.
Like, well, I'll take the gig. And it's just become a huge part of my life. So I fronted that show for a lot of years. And from that, I realized how great the songs were, how the impact their songs has everywhere, endlessly, worldwide,
yeah.
Age wide, the demographic has got to be the broadest demographic I think any band has. You have 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds know the words, 84, and everyone in between. So you grow up and maybe there's a couple rubbing personalities in that company, but I realized I have such a great network of great friends that I thought, I'm going to put this together myself, because we didn't write the music, ABBA did. So I thought, well, let me put my own project together in the style of music, but with our own twist on it. And what our own twist is completely live, completely raw, with a little bit of our own personal touch in it. So, it's not going to be like Classic Elms Live is a brilliant company in production, but they are note for note, cut for cut. We are capturing the essence of what ABBA show is. But we've got so many great players. I said, make it your own, make it your own. God knows I make it goofy. Like, I put my personality into it. Right. So that's what you get when you come see Always Abba. You see a really rockin', live, fully entertaining, energetic show. And the songs, like, it's funny, actually.
I posted actually a video of you. It's like a montage of all your albums.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was just incredible. It was the energy. And I picked that up just from a screen. The energy in that, and I love what you just said, because I was thinking that too. It's like, it's bang on ABBA, but yet it's got your essence. It's got that little spin on it, and I think that's what we want when we see a tribute band. I personally, I want to hear the songs that I love, but I want to see a little bit of that new artist that's
sure. That's right. Yeah. The personality too. And you know what? I feel like that's what you want even when you see an original artist. You want to see a little bit of the realness side, not just something scripted, like nothing robotic. Like when you see Billy Joel flub on his lyric and then laughs at himself, like that inside scoop, that realness, I think is super, it super connects the audience to the performance.
100%. It's that authenticity. Like you said, when somebody makes a slight error, because it's real.
Yeah.
It's real, it's raw, it's not all canned music. And so how many people are in Always Abba?
It's a 7-man show.
Wow.
7, yeah. Yeah.
And so are you touring in Canada with that as well? Or?
Yeah, before COVID, I would always say we're about 70% American shows. Right. The big casinos there, the big state fairs and the theaters. But coming out of COVID, we're still, I guess we're maybe half and half. So our next show, I have to keep everything straight.
Well, you have to keep straight, my friend.
I have different colored pens for each different show. Like pink is ABBA. So I know we're going to be in Michigan next. We're going to be in Pennsylvania. We're going to be, I don't know. I'll show you my calendar on email.
So I'm just curious, Michelle, is there a difference between American and Canadian audiences as far as, I don't know, like enthusiasm, or like are Canadians more, subtle and quiet than American audiences?
No, I don't see a difference between the two countries. I see the difference between maybe the different quarters of Canada. But there's different parts of the states that are like one state to the next is just another world.
Really?
Yeah. So no, I can't say the difference between Canada and the States. Can't say that at all. No, I'm sure other people might have their opinion on it, but
Sure.
I think whenever we play ABBA, it just lifts everyone up to the same mood, which is like prom night, party time.
Right. And I love what you said earlier about the demographic, Michelle, because I would imagine, there's people that lived ABBA when it was new that are there, and then, and then generations. And so just to have that mass appeal, that's got to feel great, to perform to that.
Yeah, and it's been kind of resurfaced so many times, or the resurgence of it, because there was the musical. in the West End, then Broadway, then Canada, now touring. That became so popular. Then from that came the movies. Then from that came the sequel. Now Cher's in it. Now Cher's doing ABBA in her set in concert. So it just keeps, like, well, now ABBA's redoing ABBA, right? They're doing their own tour. So they're still big. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, cool stuff. Michelle, we're getting a ton of comments already, so I want to address a few of those. Oh, G, hi, G. Love her.
Hey! I was talking to her a couple days ago.
Yeah.
You're awesome.
So, she's saying, I think I know you two girls. Hello, beautiful ladies.
You do.
Realize, you're going to know a few of the other people here too. Ellen Zilkowski is just saying good evening, ladies.
Oh, hi.
Oh, Joshua Rolls, who is a really amazing local musician. He's just got a new album out himself. Says, I flip and love ABBA. That sounds awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And Lee Canfield, Lee Canfield? He's a really good fan of the show too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's saying hello and good evening and a righteous Canada Day weekend. I also wish to humbly say, Kelly, you are absolutely correct. Both of your hair is so on rocking point. Thanks. We tried. I would also like to say, pass on to the lovely and uber talented Michelle Truman. Have a blast this summer commanding the stages with Toronto. God bless you, ladies. Keep the biz rocking.
Oh. Thank you, Lee. That's awesome. Yeah, thanks. So, we have a big summer ahead of us.
I'm sure you do, and Rock the River being one of them.
Oh yes, I'm going to see you there.
We're going to go have a beverage.
Oh, 5 of them.
With Lisa Guliak.
I know. She's yeah.
So Lisa, for those of you watching, is the photographer, like our premier photographer to all the Canadian rock stars. Mm-hmm. Most of my promo is done by Lisa, and it's going to be just a blast. There's such a great lineup.
There's a killer lineup. Killer.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So
it's going to be fantastic. It's such a great collection of like our favorite people.
Right. I got that last year. I went last year and I was like, oh my God, all my favorite bands are here. And then this year it's like, oh, all my favorite bands are here.
Yeah.
All under one sky. And so what I'm just going to backtrack a little bit, Michelle, before we get talking about more Toronto dates.
Yeah.
I kind of feel, Michelle, what I know about you, you're definitely one of these people that was born to be a performer. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because from a very early age, you were, well, take us back. I'll let you tell it. But from a very early age, you were involved in.
Yeah. Well, I'll go back to, I was just a very, very little kid. And I was in print ads and in commercials, and I wasn't on stage live yet. That happened when I was maybe as a teenager, but I grew up in commercials and as a kid actor. And, half of it wasn't even acting. Half of it was just me being like uber energetic and crowd pleasing, I guess. Like I'm extremely animated naturally. Right. And I also just like love people and I over express, I guess. And I think I was just made for it. And I've always enjoyed it. And from, I credit my parents for that because they're the ones. I mean, I didn't have a say in it when I was 3. They put me into it. And people always think it's because you're cute. And I got to say, it's not because you're cute. It's because you take direction well.
Right.
And you have a likability. It's about being likable and taking direction well. So get that out of your head. It's not about being like a gorgeous child. So yeah, and then from that, it just evolved. Then I just went to your everyday high school and I said like, well, I'm an actor. And they said, well, we have musical theater. So I said, well, I'm an actor. And they said, well, you have to sing to get in. So I sang. And from there, I was a singer. Like it just kind of went into that, which segued into, I was on cruise ships when I was 19. I had a recording contract in Germany for 3 years straight, maybe 20 years old. I was over there doing that. And, there's been a lot of times throughout the years that you think like, it's been great, but like, should I put that aside? And then you have something like COVID that hits and forces you, like it calls your bluff.
Right.
You don't feel like yourself. There's been a lot of great things that came out of COVID, a lot of different focusing your energies on different things that you wouldn't have had time to do. So there's a lot of great positives that came out of COVID.
I agree.
But it certainly did call you on your bluff. Like I felt like I was missing a limb. not being able to perform.
Right.
So it is a part of me. It's a part of who I am.
I would agree. And I also think, Michelle, that it really gave us a new appreciation for things. And I think I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago with a guest, and I think the thing that really rattled people so badly about COVID was because, we kind of live in this, high-tech world where pretty much anything can be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You can order something off Amazon. There's a YouTube video to fix stuff. The government can fix stuff. Like, somebody can always usually fix things. And, here came along something that literally could not be fixed, and it didn't matter how much money you had.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what to do. And so, I know for me personally, it really switched my bucket list up to what's really important in life.
Yeah.
And so that's a positive.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. Yep. And I mean, and as a performer, and you are as well, you've got this great performance background. And I'm going to interview you one of these times. We're going to put you in the hot seat. But you get it, right? Because you're a performer with the background. And what you've done is you've let that performance back. You've evolved that into what you're doing now. You're still on stage. Look at your platform. You're adored. You're viewed. And, you're out there in the public. You're still performing. But, it takes on a different shape as the years go by. And I think maybe COVID was just another one of those things to remold how we do things. And part of that is to remold how we view it. And so we view it very differently, which is, all it can be now is great. I'm going to say all it can be is great, because that's how I think you have to see it.
You have to. You go nuts, right?
Yeah.
You know who's in the house? Some young man who I think is probably a fan. His name is Jason Cran. Hi, Jason. Jason's saying, "Rock the river, rock the river."
Oh, you'll see him there. He'll be there.
Right on. So
yeah.
And so Jason is your other half.
He's a big fan.
He's what?
He's a big fan. He's a big fan. Mine and yours. Yeah.
Better be. Right on, Jason. Michael Pachulak is here.
Hey, what a sweetheart! I can't wait to see you.
Patch just says Truman. I think he's sending hugs.
Yep. I'll take them.
Right on. Oh, G. Venuto's okay, awesome. We already got to that one. So getting back to, I was going over some of the projects you had done, Michelle, and getting back to the theater, you've done some really cool theatrical performances, and you did Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh yeah,
I
still have the fishnets. That was wicked. That was so much fun, because that was rock, right? So when I did musical theater, I wasn't in Phantom or Les Mis. I was way too wild, I guess, is maybe what they would have said. Right. Too rough around the edges, maybe, for that stuff. But I did a lot of great rock musicals, and Rocky Horror Picture Show was one of them. And so, of course, I was Magenta. And
cool.
I mean, it was so great. It's so rock. It's so rough. It's so great music, and
it's a classic.
I love it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And you did a production too where you played Janis Joplin.
I did, and I loved it. Yeah, that was great. That was super fun. I would do that again in a heartbeat.
Are you a Janis fan?
I of course I am. Of course.
Right. And so who are some of your, while we're talking about who you're a fan of, who are some of your early influences, Michelle? Who did you listen to when you were, you started when you were 3, so it's hard to say a teenager, but.
You know what? I've got 2 big brothers, and, and they're your typical butthead big brothers. And, I'm a little person and the only girl. And so, I got knocked around pretty good by them, but I think because of them that I'm a little bit maybe cooler than I would have been, because there was no, in my era, my friends were listening to the pop stuff and the boy bands, or even before that, maybe Paula Abdul and stuff. That did not fly in this house. I was not allowed. I was forced at a very early age, this is Iron Maiden, and you will listen to it, and you will love it. This is Deep Purple. You're grade 2. Get it in your head. Of course, I loved it right away. So I was exposed to metal and classic heavy rock at a very young age. But I also it's not just I was exposed to it. I gravitated towards it too once I got, kind of found it. So anything from that world is my inspiration. Like I think anyone watching knows like Sammy Hagar is my favorite and Dio. Like those are my lords.
Lords.
Yeah.
And you spent some time also living in Europe. Is that true that you were?
I did. Yeah, I did. I was at a young age. I'd just gone off the cruise ship. I was the youngest lead singer they'd ever had. And I was touring the Mediterranean. And from there, I got a recording contract in Germany. And I was there working on that for about three years. Yeah, but it was pop. It was really pop.
Do you speak German?
I did. Yeah, I can still pull it out. After we have a beverage, I'll go into my bag of tricks and see if I remember any.
I'd love to hear that. Drunk Michelle like barking orders in German.
You'll hear it. You'll hear it. Yep. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Okay, there's other people popping in here. Ed Shove. Yep, great hair, ladies. Happy pre-Canada Day, Kelly and Michelle. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. Your man Jason is saying, Kelly, we'll definitely see you in Saskatoon. Oh, guess who else is in the house? Anthony Delacroix.
I love him! Anthony!
He says, hello, talented and quite attractive young ladies. Now we really love Tony.
I'm so happy to see him out playing. Start on the whole summer festival thing. I know you think they just did Vancouver over the weekend, and I heard it went fantastic. Rosa's killing it. Can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah, for sure. I think Anthony's going to be at Rock River because actually I think I'm co-presenting a guitar with Anthony.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's being given away by Perry Boyko to I don't know if it's like an underprivileged child or but it's a 7-year-old that Perry's donating this guitar to, and Anthony and I are going to be presenting it. So
that's really awesome. I can't wait to see it. That's great.
I'll have to try not to cry when I give it to him because I'm like that when it comes to stuff like that.
The waterproof eyeliner.
Right?
Yeah. That's really sweet. That's awesome of you guys.
Super cool. Thanks for popping in, Tony. Great to see you. So you joined Toronto then in 2018, if I'm correct. How does that happen? Were you a fan previous? And so how did that all come about?
Depends who you ask. If you ask Barry, he'll tell you the truth. My phone kept ringing with this Barry, and I kept deny. And then finally, I'm like, who is this man? Like, I don't even know who you are. I thought it was a club owner from Scarborough trying to get me to play his shitty little club for like $150. I'm like, go away. And then the text said like, do you want to be in Toronto or not? I'm like, oh yeah, hi. That's how the story happened. But
why didn't you say so in the first place, right?
I know, right? It was really just through the grapevine, friends of friends. They needed a backup singer to then possibly maybe evolve in the band, and it was my name that was suggested. And so I know Barry might have like did what he was supposed to do, right? Like did some research on me, and I was his girl. And of course I am. Like I'm so at home with those guys. Like of course I am. It's just a perfect fit. I love those guys. Wally, still so close with her, and like yeah, it's such an honor to be in that family.
And Barry and Jim are like
that's it. Tom Lewis is in Toronto, and he's also a member of the Always Abba, or he had been at that time. He's really busy. I don't mean had. He's super busy right now. Glass Tiger is just all over the place. So Tom's off with them, but he was a member of both, and I think he might have mentioned my name too. So thanks, everybody.
And here we are. The rest is history.
Yeah.
Really, and I've always been a fan of Toronto and funny, and I think I was mentioning on the last show that when I first was young and wanted to get into a band, and I remember going to the music store and scaring because back then we didn't have internet. But you would go and look at notices on the wall, of the music store, and I auditioned for this girl band, and one of the songs I auditioned with was "Your Daddy Don't Know."
Get out of here!
I'm not even kidding, and it was a hit then. That's how old I am. It was a hit right then.
And, might have to go on stage.
Yeah, right. And then I remember I got the gig. It was an all-girl band, and then a week later they broke up, and that was the
really?
balloon.
Wow.
Yeah, sad panda. But it was a whole learning experience. But I always fondly remember that Toronto song.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite?
Of a Toronto song?
Yeah.
Head On.
Yeah. Great.
You know, it's a banger. Yeah, it's a banger. It was actually one we didn't do when Holly was there and I was backup. We didn't do that one, and I dug it. I always dug it. When I started learning all the tunes, I was like, you just go through what you have on your phone. So I was just listening to all of them. I'm like, this one's gonna slay. And then I start doing the show with them. And I'm like, where's that on? They're like, no, it's not in the set. So
it is now.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah, it's a great song. Yeah, super cool.
Right on. And there's such an energy with Toronto. And when you, and for people that might not know, could tell us the other band members in Toronto.
Oh man, we got the A-team.
Yeah, you do.
Mr. Tom Lewis on bass. He's a great guy, just a fantastic person and a hell of a player. We have the superstar himself, Jim Gilmore of Saga on keys. Another, they're all just like the top.
Seasoned, like highly seasoned.
Yeah. Equally as wonderful people as they are players. We have the gorgeous and talented and super sweet Carmela on backing box.
Really? I did not know that.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. We have from early Toronto days too, Steve Shelsky on guitar. Actually, Coney Hatch, right? Shelsky of Coney Hatch.
There you go.
So he's in the band. I'm myself as lead, and of course, the king of all kings, Mr. Barry Conn, who does not run a CD club in Scarborough. He leads the band Toronto, and he's just one hell of a guy. And I don't know where I'd be in life without him as my big brother.
Oh,
we got a great bond. I'm so happy to have him in my life and to be a part of his.
It really becomes like a little family, doesn't it, Michelle?
It is a crazy little family. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, were you all connected during the lockdown? Did you all kind of still try and do projects like via online or
a little bit? But it also was like a lot of people's time just to kind of just like introvert a little bit, because now we're all like, oh, hooray, yippee! But at a time, there were dark days where you didn't feel like talking to anyone. You didn't even feel like engaging in music talk because it was so unaccessible to do anything with it. For the first major part of the break, I'd say. And then halfway through, maybe 3/4 way through, we started talking and we started getting things going, and then the ball started rolling. And we have been recording throughout COVID, so we have some new Toronto things to reveal very, very soon.
Exciting. And so what do you think it is about? Because, we just talked about Toronto and the 40-year anniversary of some of these songs.
Yeah.
In your opinion, Michelle, what do you think it is that gives a song like such relevance still and such longevity? What do you think makes a good song?
Well, I know part of it for a lot of people is the nostalgia of it. And nostalgia is such a strong force. So I know part of it for the audience is nostalgia. However, it just comes down to a good song being a really well-written song with great subject matter and, meaningful lyrics and sentiment, but just put together so well. And the songs were put together so well. Like even the ones that are a little bit, like more on the slower tempo or the more heartache based songs, they still have this lift in them, which just grabs you by the feelings, grabs you by the guts, and it holds you there, right? And it starts to become a part of you. So like when the song lifts, you lift, and when the song hurts, you hurt. So it's just it's in your body. And I think if you can do that with music, like really get into someone's their body, their spirit, their soul, then I think that's magic. And Toronto has been able to do that.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it doesn't get much more powerful.
It's not just the sound, it's a feel.
Right. And when you can listen to a song, and I'm a huge fan of lyrics, and I've always loved Toronto's lyrics. And to me, when you can listen to a song and be completely transported, to wherever that song is trying to take you, that's a sign of good writing for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're a singer, so you get that too. I'm sure you sing along sometimes with some Toronto songs. I can be having the best day of my life, and like I feel thin today. My hair is good. I got great lip gloss. And then you start singing this song of heartache, and I'm like, oh, I really feel sad. Like, it hurts because that's just the power of the song.
Right? I'm sad in my lip gloss.
Yes, it's good. Yeah.
I have to be a part of that. And you also do, and this is where we're swinging to the other side of the spectrum, because you're this, this really tasty rock singer, but yet you also do a Shania Twain tribute.
I do that too. I know.
I want to know when you sleep. When do you sleep?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I've always believed in this. If you snack often enough, it counteracts the lack of sleep. So anyone who's traveled with me will agree to this. They know this. Is I've got like, Mary Poppins when she pulls like a couch out of her purse. I can go right down deep and come out with like, do you need a pineapple? Oh, your energy is low. Do you need a pea stick? That's me. I've got at least 5 different kinds of proteins in my bag at all times. So when do I sleep? I get my sleep because I know how important it is to keep up your chops. I'm a hard singer and I'm a frequent singer. So I know that sleep really is, and you know that too. That's your number one thing. There's no amount of Halls or vocal spray or any rescue remedy that's going to do the job that sleep does, rest. So rest is important. And a lot of the times you don't get it. So what do? You snack.
Michelle, I love the girl who knows the value of a well-timed Scooby snack.
Yes. I'll share it with you.
I was chatting with my sister the other day, like just on Facebook, and you said how I made it through the whole airport fiasco was that I had snacks. And
that's right. Absolutely. Yeah. It makes a big difference. There's been too many times you're stuck on the airplane, just on the tarmac. They won't feed you, They will feed you. Jason, you can chime in and agree to this. If I'm hungry, look out. Look out.
You're getting hungry.
But then I get hungry. It's not good.
Jason's going to chime in here anytime. I can just tell.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Milner is saying, hi, great show, girls. Hi, Dave. Thank you for being here. Gary Jones, another great show. Thank you, Gary. Doug Corby, who you may or may not know the name, he's a huge supporter of Canadian music. You're a great singer, Michelle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Jason. Jason just said, if she's hangry, look out.
Oh, it's true. It is true. But you know what? You know how to do it. That there's going to be runs, like a couple shows in a row where there's no sleep. You know that. So you get it when you can. You prepare beforehand. Yeah.
That's right. You're dead, right? And speaking of Perry Boyko, Carrie, I don't know if we were just talking about you and your very generous guitar giveaway at Rock the River this summer, but Perry's in the house and he's just saying hi, Kelly, hi, Michelle. Hi, Perry.
Hey, Perry. Perry, you're awesome. You're a total.
Back to the voice, Michelle. I'm just wondering because I've heard you sing, and it's so impressive. Whether it's the Shania, whether it's the Toronto or the ABBA. How do you take care of your voice? And I'm doing this more from a point of view of advice that you could possibly give a younger, any of the young ladies out there that are trying to get into the biz. How do you take care of your voice? And
it's something that I learned early on. No one taught it to me. Mind you, I've never had training. And I remember when I was in musical theater, that was like a little bit of like to say to people, and people would be like, oh, but she hasn't been trained. It's like, well, you know what? No, I didn't go. I didn't have vocal instructors, vocal teachers. I didn't go to school. But I listen and I keep aware of how things feel. And I think as long as you can do that, you can guide yourself. If it hurts, you're doing something wrong. Right. Something that I just kind of learned by myself, and it felt right to me, which I still try to do, is on show days, I try not to talk for the first hour and a half that I'm awake. That's it. That's my magic trick. I try not to talk first thing in the morning. And my analogy to that is if you're running or if you're a runner, you don't just jump out of bed and go full force. You gotta wake up, you gotta warm up, and then you get rolling. And I feel like if you woke up and you just started talking like full energy, I feel like you might almost like pull a muscle.
Yeah.
That's how
it's like using up your reserve too quickly.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. And so, Michelle, have you ever, and getting back to, possibly because, any of the younger people, men or women that are watching that want to get into business, did you ever personally find any, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, barriers perhaps, based on the fact that you're a woman in this industry, or are we hopefully way past that? Did you ever go through that?
I think I was always very aware of it from a young age because I was in the industry at a young age. I learned how to really show the fun, bubbly personality side of myself rather than playing the card of my looks. I think that's a very slippery slope that gets into maybe like a little bit of the wrong picture that you're trying to portray yourself as. So, and a lot of my friends in this industry, or who are now my very close friends, I'm sure they'll say the same. When you meet me, I'm your buddy, I'm your pal, and I make sure that that's very clear. And I think I haven't had any of those scary situations because I presented myself the way I did. It was always very important for me. It still is to be seen, to present myself as who I really am, and not give the opportunity to be mistaken.
Right. And I think that's
it will happen. It will happen if you play the wrong role, if you wear the wrong outfit, and I don't just mean literally, metaphorically the wrong outfit. You could find yourself in trouble, or you could find yourself out of a job, or you could find yourself being obligated potentially to something that you're not signing up for.
Exactly. And you do have to be careful. We were talking about this earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about, how to deal with, the creepy types and I think you can definitely control that in a one-on-one, in-person situation. It gets a little tricky on the internet, okay? Like you can't really control people and so you do have to be careful about that kind of stuff, especially
you do. And some people might view that as that's too bad that you have to think of it that way. I don't see it that way. I think of it as just expect. Don't expect the worst from people. Always expect the best, but be prepared for the worst. Just know that not everyone is as,
as level,
solid and as intentionally balanced or focused on the right, what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. And 100%. And so I think having that attitude that you had, you probably didn't experience a lot of that. You sound very level-headed.
I never allowed room for it, and maybe I'm also just very lucky because I'm sure it could have happened, but I've been very lucky. I've also been very protected by a lot of the people I work with. I know he'll take a bullet for me. I hope he sees this because he's been a bandmate, he's been a best friend, he's been a father figure at times, and he's been a brother, and will continue to be my brother. But I've got people like that in my life, where if I did find myself in a compromised situation, I know who I have to count on. And I know a lot of the people who you've interviewed, I consider very close friends. I know they've got my back too. And likewise, I know I'm just a small female and they might be like fully grown men, but I got their back too, whenever needed. It's such a great, we have great dynamic. Yeah. Because you've got really great people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really honest, very loyal, very genuine people. There's a lot of great, genuine people. You've interviewed a ton of them.
Oh, I have. I was just going to say,
a lot of our best friends, just superb people that we know.
Absolutely, and everybody that's been on the show has been like so darn gracious. Like because when I first started out, I didn't know what to expect. I'd met a lot of people because I was in the business, but maybe some of them not to the caliber as people like yourself and some of the other guests I've had on. And I have never had a guest be anything other than like 100% gracious and
it's wonderful.
And, I think that's a Canadian thing. But I also think it's a musician thing, and maybe it's a Canadian. I don't care what it is. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm so proud of our Canadian artists and yourself. I'm glad that you're ours.
I know yours.
Doug Corby's saying that he met you in Winnipeg a few years back.
Who's that?
Doug Corby.
Hi, Doug. I wish we were playing Winnipeg this summer we're not. Beebs is away from Australia. I have to tell you, Kelly, she's just saying hi. She's in Adelaide. She's going to be in Saskatoon. She's coming from Australia. So we're all going to connect. Okay.
I'll meet her too.
And our brother Sean Kelly is going to be there. Sean, you know what? When you were asking me who my inspiration was, I've just felt like that's when his name popped into my head, because it's not that he was my inspiration, but maybe today he is, because I think he's just the picture perfect, how it should be, how you should be. That man rocks the hardest on every level with every band known to man. And he's so generous and kind, polite, witty. He's generous with his time and just a fantastic human being.
He really is. He was on the show. He was on the show, and
I know.
He was just amazing.
Yeah, he is. He's a star. He's a great guy. Yeah.
There's Beebs. I couldn't figure out where you were talking to. Beebs is from Adelaide.
Yeah.
She says,
I was talking to her a few hours ago. It would have been my morning, but it would have her night. #. She says, "Oh yeah, have a great time on the live show." I said, "Yeah, thanks." I said, "Aren't you going to bed?" She's like, "Yes, I'm eating ice cream in bed." And then she showed, so she's going to be in Saskatoon. So we'll have a great time.
Super. She's saying that I'm at work servicing the public. What does that mean?
Yikes.
We're gonna leave that though.
That doesn't sound good.
Well, looking forward to meeting you, Beebs, for sure. UC Uzmaki. Gotta make this boy blush all the time. He blushes when you just mention his name, so I'm gonna be all over that now. He says, "Kelly, you look incredible and your hair is spot on." Hi, Michelle. You're beautiful. Come and see us in Thunder Bay, Ontario soon. Is that a possibility?
I'd love to go to Thunder Bay. We're not in Thunder Bay. We could be. You know what? We're still getting dates in. It was a little bit of like a nothing because of COVID. And then all of a sudden, like, whoa, dates. They're still coming in.
Right. So Michelle, where can people go to find out your upcoming dates? Is it on your Facebook page or the Toronto page?
I'll always have it updated on the Facebook page. Barry does a great job of updating the Toronto pages. You'll find it. It'll be there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Ken Holst.
Add us on Instagram, Toronto the band.
Okay, so basically all social media platforms, you guys will have dates popping up. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Doug's saying he has a photo with you, so that's cool.
Oh my gosh, how's my hair?
Oh, here's an interesting one. Ken Holst is in the house. So Ken Holst is a big music promoter. He's actually the one bringing Took to Tabor, along with Stage Fright, who's friends of mine who have an amazing Def Leppard tribute. So he's bringing that in July. He says, will you hook me up for Toronto and ABBA in Tabor?
Yes.
We might have to talk about that.
We'll talk about it. Yeah. Call my people.
And have your people call my people. We'll talk.
I'm my people. So Took, that's another. All the Took boys are just fantastic. Todd Kearns, if you ever come across this, I applaud you, sir. He's another one who's just like endless amounts of talent and energy and kindness and so real, you know.
That entire band. I mean,
the whole band.
And a couple of them are touring with Slash, and unbelievable. So, great stuff. But we'll talk. That would be interesting to have you come to this area. Would be like super cool.
Love to. Yes,
absolutely. So, So aside from is there any upcoming gigs that are like in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay,
yep.
Tell us
Oh yeah. This Saturday I'm in Buffalo doing Shania. Then in a week we fly to Regina to play Momart. This is with Toronto. We're playing All Folked Up.
I love that name.
I'm going to have to say that again slower. All Folked Up. And it'll be Toronto and Prism.
Wow, what a great show that would be. Regina's my hometown. My sister will probably come and see you. I will have to mention.
Really? Oh, yeah. Send her my way. Love to meet her.
Yeah, right on. Okay, I see if there's any more comments. Oh, Michael's just commenting. Todd Kearns is like it.
Yeah,
Business
absolutely.
stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, Michelle, if you could just, I call this like my Barbara Walters portion of the show, where we just get a little off the music and a little more about what advice would you give your younger self? And I ask this question to everybody because I think it's really interesting for everyone to just ask themselves that question. What advice would you give the 18-year-old Michelle if you knew then what you knew now?
Okay, but then if you do that, it changes the outcome, right?
That's
Like
a very good
change it. But maybe something I should have known was to go for it. It's okay to be different. I was always different. I was always a weirdo. I'm still a weirdo.
weirdo. We love weirdos.
You don't realize till later that weirdo's okay. It's okay. And I don't think that anyone made me feel bad for being a weirdo. It's probably completely self-inflicted. I'm different. I'm a bit odd. I'm a bit weird. Calm down. You know what? Don't calm down. That's your true self. As long as you're being true to yourself.
Right.
I mean, that's the best you can be,
Right. I think, Michelle, when we're younger kids, the things that we think hold us back are the things that definitely make us unique when we're older. Like the weirdo factor. No one wants to be a weirdo when you're a kid. Kind of cool when you're grown up and you're okay with being a little off.
Yeah. 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 You question yourself for so long because you are different. I know I always loved what I did. Like, I was leaving elementary school to go be on set. So even though I came back and I was the weirdo because I was doing something different, or, oh, she's weird, she's in commercials, inside my head I was like, oh, I wish everyone included me a bit more, but holy crap, I love being on set. Like, that craft services was like, woo. So I always loved it, but I always kind of question myself. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be so different. And then you get to a certain age and you're like, be what you are, whatever that is, as long as it's good. And I use the word good, whatever your definition of good is. Do good, be good, think good, do good for others, do good for yourself. That's probably one thing many of us didn't maybe become aware of early on, is you have to be good to yourself. It's not just deliver, hit the mark. If that's what you love to do it, but you still have to have that balance of being good to yourself too. Be proud of yourself and forgive yourself for the marks that you missed. Forgive yourself.
100%, because I think entertainers and artists, we can be hard on ourselves. We're very hard on us. I can be very hard on myself.
Yeah. Still to this day?
No, not so much. I will admit, when I first started doing these shows, because it was very new to me, I couldn't necessarily watch the show for a day or two.
Yeah.
And then I would watch and I would be like, oh, why didn't you say this? Or why didn't and now after doing, a few, several shows, now I may watch it, I may not, but I'm always kinder with myself when I do. Like, well, that was fun. I think the bottom line for me is, did the guests look like they had fun? Yeah. Then it was a great show. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you didn't say this. It doesn't matter if you maybe should have said that. You know what I mean?
And you've got the feeling, you've done well, that, and that's success, right? If you can say, like, I did good, I did my best. Maybe everything's not perfect, but if you did good, if you focused and you put your heart into it and you didn't just kind of, walk the dog, feel good. You don't have to kind of overthink it and kill yourself or criticize yourself. Yeah.
Right. And be gentle with yourself. I like that. Jason is saying 2 Crocs, great guys, great bands.
I thought this was about me.
Jason's going to be sleeping on the couch tonight.
My show. He's in Regina. I'm in Bolton, Ontario. He's in Regina. That guy.
In Regina.
He lives there.
Oh, okay.
I know. You'll see him at Saskatoon too.
Right. Yeah, he was mentioning that earlier. Well, that's terrific. Yeah. UC's back. Oh, so UC is responding to what you just said. He's saying beautiful words of wisdom, Michelle. Love it. It holds so true. Be true to yourself. I agree, UC.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom. So, Michelle, what makes you happy? What makes you happiest these days?
Oh, I love things. Like, I love naps and I love my pillow. It's, you know what? it doesn't take, it's not big grand things.
Right.
I love gardening. That makes me super happy. I've gotten it out of my schedule of being a night owl, and I'm now getting up early. And I've got another chunk of work that I'm a part of, which I don't mind. Can we take a minute to say? It's the merch company, Rock Paper Merch. It's a wonderful company that I'm so proud to be a part of and work for. So add rockpapermerch.com, everybody. It's all your favorite. A lot of it's the big classic Canadian bands. I'm wearing a shirt. So I help work at the web store, and it gets a lot of everyone's favorite band shirts into their hands, and the bands themselves get a very, like, the chunk that they don't often get with other companies.
Right.
So I'm up early now working for that, and that makes me happy. I like getting up kind of like as the world wakes up, and I love that my mug has polka dots on it, like my coffee mug has polka dots. That makes me happy. I just have
little things, isn't it? Like, I think I don't know if it's like as we get older or because of the COVID or whatever it is, but my idea of what made me happy used to be so much bigger.
Yeah.
You know, like when I get the brand new car, when I get the big house, when I get the job, when I get the gorgeous man on a white horse. Now I really don't have any of that, and I'm kind of okay with it all.
Yeah, I used to love shopping. Because you're everywhere. You're in Italy, so you gotta go shopping. Oh my God, you're in Oshawa, you gotta go shop. Just always like found an excuse. And I don't do that anymore. Now I write. I've always been a really good pen pal, so I write to my friends everywhere.
Oh,
and you know what makes me happy is putting stickers on the envelope. I put stickers on the envelope, and that makes me happy.
It really is the little things, though, right? You know what makes me happy? Like the happiest? That first cup of coffee in the morning.
It's great.
Like that's literally what drags my sorry butt out of bed, is the thought of having coffee. And speaking of coffee, as you know, and I just want to send a huge shout out to my show sponsors, Writers and Rockers Coffee Company. Have you tried any of their coffee?
No, but I'd love to.
You have to check it out.
Yeah.
And their link is on my on my Facebook page all over the place. But they, for those of you that don't know, they have endorsed coffee blends from our Canadian rock stars. And so, like, Lee Aaron is the newest one. So Lee Aaron now has a coffee out. Todd Kearns has a blend out.
Yeah.
Queen City Kids, Harlequin, Coney Hatch.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, they're all sitting on my shelf up there. I have an entire.
I'd love to know. You can direct me into which, what do you call it? Not strength. Which one I'd like.
I'll hook you up, yeah, for sure. But check it out, guys, if you haven't. And I just want to mention that Writers and Rockers Coffee is all 15% off right now in celebration of Canada Day. So now it's a good time to check it out. Speaking of Canada Day, do you have any plans, Michelle? You doing anything exciting?
I'm going to be getting ready for upcoming gigs, because it's a lot of. It never felt like a lot of, like, to memorize a lot of lyrics before, because you were doing the shows all the time. But then since COVID, it's like, like, I've had a lot of recipes in my head through COVID, because I love to cook and bake. And now now all the shows are happening again. And I'm like, I have a lot of lyrics floating around in my head. Joan Jett, Lita Ford, Vixen, that's all for Big Top Radio. Shania, ABBA, Toronto. So I'm going to be revisiting, just kind of going over some material tomorrow, because we start to get busy again.
Yeah, you want to be prepared.
The next day. I also wanted to say Edmonton at the end of July. Toronto will be there with Streetheart.
Oh my God.
Klondike Days, Edmonton. Yeah.
Wow, what a celebration that's going to be. Toronto and Streetheart. Oh my God.
It's a celebration.
That's two of my favorite ones.
You should.
I'm kind of saving it all up for Rock the River, to be honest with you. I'm pretty busy as far as and I have another job aside from this. So Rock the River is my big holiday for the year. And
we'll do it up.
We'll do it up, sister. We'll do lunch. We'll have a beverage. All my people. Oh, you know what's funny? See, I just saw something shiny. Beeb's Bullard is saying, "Where's my letter with the stickers?"
Send me your address.
Right on. And Jason is saying, coffee definitely makes Michelle happy.
I'm a pretty happy person.
See, he brought it back to you now because it's about you.
I feel like he's stealing my platform. Kate, this is my show. Get your own with Kelly. Okay?
Michelle, before we go, I just want to ask you a kind of a vague question, but if you have an idea, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like in a perfect world?
That's a terrible question to ask because I don't know.
Where would you like to see yourself?
You know, I would love to see myself pretty much doing what I'm doing right now because I'm quite happy right now. I've got a really fantastic balance of working for Rock Paper Merch in Motion, and performing. I feel really like a lot of the satisfaction tanks are being checked off. It's a great balance, and I'm super busy. I love being busy as much as I love rest too. But I think the rest is so much richer when you feel so accomplished.
For sure, I agree. Busy is good,
Yeah.
and you know, it's a treat when you have.
I know. In 5 years it'll be a while since, but there's going to be some new music, Toronto music that comes out, and I'd love to see the band have several more years. Like it's got more life in it. We're creating more life, and ABBA's never going to die. So I see myself doing that. Yeah.
You got some good gigs on the go, my friend. Like
I do.
I don't see them going anywhere.
No, I'm a lifer. I like having other employment as well, but I love to keep it in the same world. Like I'm not going to go off and do something unrelated because my soul's here and these are my people and I really connect here and I feel very plugged in the music world, even if that's the advancing side of it or, the behind the scenes side. I'll always have a balance between the two because I just feel like I feel more balanced when I have that. But I'm a lifer in terms of performing.
Right. Well, that makes us happy. I'm happy to hear that. And I just, I can't wait to see what you have coming down the road. I certainly can't wait to see you this summer at Rock the River in Saskatoon. And I just can't thank you enough for stopping by today, Michelle. We're so glad you finally made it.
Well,
we would have done it if it had taken 10 times. We would have been happy.
Well, you're really sweet, and it's always a pleasure talking with you. And I'll probably talk to you tomorrow because I'm so happy you're my friend. I just think you're super awesome. And on the show, you do such a great job, and you've got so many wonderful people. And of course, you have wonderful people because good gravitates towards good, and you do such a great job. And I love seeing the guests that you have on. And I know you've got such a great following. Yeah, because it's fantastic.
I thank you for saying that, and I feel super blessed to have it.
Yeah,
and it keeps going, and people seem to keep wanting to watch. So
you're killing it. You're killing it.
Thank you. And yes, I probably will talk to you tomorrow because we've been chatting all week. And drop me a line and find out what's shaking.
I will be. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks everyone for the notes.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Michelle, we'll see you this summer. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. Don't forget, next week, Canada's premier metal band, the Tyrants of Chaos. You've been watching videos of them on my Facebook page all week. They'll be guests here next Sunday. Take care, stay safe, be really nice to each other, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.